Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most overpowered halberd build in Code Vein 2. Now halberds are a little interesting in how they work. They aren't going to be the most powerful weapons in the game, but there's some that are actually really nice. Now, they have some pretty crazy movesets on them that give you a lot of mobility, and that's exactly what they're best at doing, is getting in and out of fights so that you can close the gap between enemies and take them out quickly. There's also some actually pretty decent ones, and the only venom weapon in the game comes from the halberd, so lots of great stuff here. I'll be breaking down the entire build. I'll dive right into the best weapons. I personally think that the Impaler is one of the best. What's great about this is it's got a S scaling in its dexterity here, giving massive damage. It also comes with some nice skills too for the point that you're getting it. The flash javelin giving you a valuable ranged option here, but the scaling is just so great. It also is a relatively comparable burden here with only 14 in dexterity, with lots of high dex character ones in the game, most notably hidden Holly and Noah's blood code. It also only has a 4 burden on your fortitude, so honestly really easy to use. Now on the other end of the spectrum here, we have a strength-based weapon with the Obliterator axe. This is a slower moveset than the Impaler, and I actually like the Impaler's moveset a little bit better, but both of these have very high base damage, so when you got these maxed out, they got insane damage. Obliterator axe comes with the Juggernaut ability here, which is nice, and also Chariot Reeve, not really the best skills, but it does have a very high strength burden of 22, so you will end up having to use something that's a very high strength-based blood code. And just an example here, the Cultist Ceremonial Halberd here, which has also the same S plus dex scaling, but only A scaling in its, with the additional A scaling in its strength. You can see here it does less damage than our Impaler. This is because the base damage on that weapon is much lower, although this one does have more varied stats with them spread out. Now I also want to mention the P-Sire's Venom Axe here, because this will actually have automatic Venom application, and Venom is extremely powerful in this game. It also has great stat burdens, only 10 dexterity and 10 strength. Another one I do want to quickly mention is the Lance of the Moon King, which you get a little bit later on. This is really good, and it comes with a lot of really nice skills too, with Twilight, Cleansing Light, Highlander, and Severing Abyss. And if you're looking to get the Impaler, you're going to come over to the Forest Complex here, and it's actually, when you go right through the building, it's going to be right here in this area where my little circle is at. So you're just going to explore through here, and it's going to be a little bit of a closet. And if you want to get the P-Sire Venom Pike here, there's a Jadwiga's minion around the amusement park here that will sell that to you. And then to get the Lance of the Moon King and the Pioneer Queen's Glaive, both of these weapons are available at Magmel, and you'll unlock them by fighting bosses. Also, if they don't appear, you may have to go talk to Lavinia, Jadwiga, who's hiding out in Magmel. She's actually upstairs in one of the rooms, so you may have missed her. She sits in a weird chair. Now, the best blood code here for the Impaler weapon, since it's high in dexterity, we obviously want to go with a high dex-based build, making Noah a very great option because he's got very high dex scaling. We're also going to obviously put boosts into that as well, but with this particular setup, we're getting all 3 of his traits here. So back attack, stagger, power up, which is amazing because if our teammate is aggroing, we can do a charge heavy attack at the backside and get some pretty good stagger off. No conditions also gives us the ability to survive a hit, which is nice for him. And also the strength dexterity margin 5 gives you increased attack bar as you keep attacking, which not a massive benefit, but it's nice. And I'll also mention that Holly's blood code can work very well too, because you get that quick dodge with hers. Now she does have a lesser strength stat and other stats here, including dexterity, so your damage will go down with this. But if you like to use willpower based abilities, this can work great too. It's good for mobbing because it'll also give you health restoration on defeating enemies. And what I think to be one of the craziest abilities is Vitality Margin 8, spending health points to use your Formae whenever your Ichor is insufficient. So if you run out of your abilities, you can continue to keep spamming them. It will drain down your health bar, but honestly, it's really good. I'll quickly mention pairing that with Steadfast Stance, because if you have more than 1 health point, you can survive a hit that would normally take you completely out, meaning you can spam your abilities. If you got slapped by the boss, you can then run away, heal back up, and you're good to keep doing this over and over again. And if you want to use the Obliterator axe, this weapon is actually kind of challenging because it, again, has that really high strength requirement. Jose's bloodline would be a good choice. However, you will only get a normal dodge. You don't get the quick dodge off, so that is something to consider. And in all honesty, I think that the Impaler ends up being a bit better because the quick dodge and higher damage and good moveset is nice. Now, for offensive Formae, this is a nice choice to go with Blood Reaver Blade here. You can also use the MK Rosenritter or the Longbow for some range attacks, but the Blood Reaver Blade just ends up out damaging them by quite a bit. Personal preference is best here, so if there's something you like to use that instead. I just found the axe doesn't really fit with the same. It has a similar attack to our attacks that we have with Halberds, so better to not use that for its purpose when we can get Blood Reaver Blade for higher damage. I also like to just go with the regular old shield or the bleeding shield, whatever is going to give you, like, you see, if I go to the bleeding shield, we get the slower dodge, so I don't want that, obviously. Most times it's best to dodge quickly in this game, as I find that it's very generous with its dodge framing, so that's to just go with that. We don't want to burden ourselves too much. Now, for our jail, that is going to be the best one because this gives us an option to do a range. You can charge it up there to get more of your Ichor back. It'll keep attacking the enemy over time. It's just by and far the best choice here. If you like to parry, Reaper's cool. Ogre can get it off quicker if you prefer having that, and Stinger is nice from range, but it's honestly impossible to beat Bat with how good it is in this game. Giving you a ranged way to get your Ichor back is crazy. And getting into boosters, now, we will have to have something at some point, depending on how leveled up your weapon is, because it's going to change the burden that it gives you. You may need that dexterity booster. This one, +5, will burden your strength and willpower. I like to have both of these on, so dexterity +7 total from the 2 of these here. It's kind of an essential for this build in order to get out the maximum amount of damage. You can also go with a strength increase there too if you like, but not necessary. So 2 dexterity boosts. I also like to go with the stamina up and stamina recovery speed. It's just good for the ability to spam your abilities a bit more, and the movements, getting more recovery speed is just nice to have. This one is, as I mentioned, one of the most impactful. Steadfast Stance lets you survive a hit. Use this, and you can also use the Holly Blood Code to spam all your abilities till you're basically out of health, and then you can survive a hit, and then heal yourself back and be fine. And the Halberd Mastery is amazing. This will give you up 20% more damage. Just be mindful of your dexterity. We are lucky to have this right under the number we needed. We have it right at the bar there, so we still have our quick dodge, but yeah, this may put you over the edge as it does have a 2 dexterity cost, but some of the other ones have 4 dexterity costs, so this actually ends up making it so that we can use our quick dodge with this. The Devotion is nice. That'll increase the Blood Reaver Blades. We just have to be mindful. This one also puts up our burden too. But yeah, I run with the 2 dexterity boosters, the 2 stamina boosters, the halberd damage booster, and the healing survive 1 hit booster. And for our weapon skills, now this comes stock with Flash Javelin, which gives you a ranged attack. This can also be done at close range. It's a good one, and I'll get into it a little bit more in a second here. It also comes with the Merciless Reaper built in, so this will ignore some of the enemy's defense and guarding for your next attack. This can be nice. It's good if there's an enemy that's guarding against your attacks, but Overdrive is a really nice benefit. Bridge to Glory is back in this game, although we don't have a terrific mind stat with Noah's Blood Code. If you're using Hollies, it's a lot better. But my favorite moveset is honestly going with Flash Javelin, Blade Dance, which is actually insane. Gives you a 50% damage boost if you keep attacking and stacking it up. Venom Mark, although you can just use Venom items to be able to apply it onto your weapon. And Flash Flesh. This is actually pretty crazy. It does have a higher cost to use Flash Flesh, but I'll show you. This is the Light Javelin, so with a normal attack, 4,800 damage there. The Flash Fled actually gives you a charge attack here, and it ends up doing more damage, you can see there. It does have 1 more Ichor cost, so that's something to keep in mind. You can see there, 7,000 damage is pretty solid, and this one does 4,000 there, so it's nice. And now all buffed up, if we use this attack here, you can see 13,000 damage, insane. And then if we use our close range attack there, 8,000 damage. That is using Overdrive as our buff and Blade Dance, attacking a few times to get that to stack up, and then going ahead with our abilities there. Although if you don't like Flash Javelin, because Flash Flesh actually does a bit more damage, there's some other options like Judgment Cutter if you want a bit of movement speed. Chariot Reeve, I don't really like it that much. Piercing Leap can be an okay choice if you want to have a bit of a jumping attack, and it can also nullify attacks when you jump up, so you can use it almost like a parry. And you can see what that looks like here. So yeah, you jump up and it can be a nice dodge. It does have decent enough damage, but the other moves we have is a little higher. So I typically run the Flash Flesh for the 3 Ichor costs, the other one costs 5. Blade Dance for 3 Ichor costs, Overdrive for 2, and Flash Flesh for a 4 cost. So in combat, we got this nice movement speed here to get ourselves into the boss quickly. We also have that Light Javelin there that gives us an attack that we can actually hit bosses from a bit of range here. So a lot of movement and mobility options that can do a pretty solid amount of damage. We don't have the blood off on the boss yet, so we don't have the venom off on the boss. It's typically something we want to get going as early as possible. Using Noah's Blood Code as well, another thing I do want to mention is that you're probably best doing attacks with Noah's Blood Code because you only have 14 Ichor, whereas the Holly's Blood Code gives you a lot more. That was actually really quickly. I didn't expect it to take us down that fast, but this weapon has crazy damage. So yeah, in a nutshell, use the great movement and mobility that you get while playing with the Halberd here. Use it to your advantage. You can do some pretty crazy stuff from attack from behind here. The damage from this thing, oh, we got a great camera, is insane. So let me know your thoughts on this build in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if this video is useful. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll catch you all in the next video.